This is music, and this hall will heal you. I don't know if this hall will heal you because it's a pretty small hall, only 4 cassettes and 1 CD. But boy, there's some cool things in here, in my opinion. I bought this of a private seller on Discogs. Let's get down to business. First, the only CD, Sacred Reich, Heal. Back in the day, Sacred Reich was my favorite, at least one of my favorite thrash metal bands of all time. In particular, I was a massive fan of The American Way, still am, but I also really liked Ignorance and Independence as well. But for some reason, I never really bothered checking this one out when it came out. Don't know why. So I decided to pick it up, give it a chance. I've heard some of the songs since, and I think they're pretty cool. So yeah, I decided to pick it up, give it a chance, and see if I like it as much as their other stuff. I also like the album they put out a couple of years ago now. Turn to the cassettes, really cool items up first. An original copy of the US pressing. I don't know what you call cassette tapes, but whatever. Of Iron Maiden's Somewhere in Time. One of the ways in which you can see that it's the US one, I think, I've been told, is that you got these circular holes here, whereas on a lot of the European ones, it's more like almost like a slit or something like that. Um, I picked this one up because back in the day, I actually never had an official copy of this. Obviously, I have it on CD now, I have it on vinyl, but I would listen to it on cassette tape, but it was a dub tape. And one of my friends had uh, a European pressing, or whatever, official one, which I would borrow from him. And I think that's how I got the dub tape too. And I remember we would sit around at his place and listen to this. So I figured, you know what? It's the right thing to do to pick up an official cassette tape of this brilliant album. This is a lot of people's favorite Iron Maiden album, which I totally understand. Up next, also cool, Danish hard rock, DAD, No Fuel Left for the Pilgrims. Also an official release, but this is not one of the original ones because they would have the real or not real, the original logo that would say Disneyland After Dark. Um, but they had to change their name because of some legalities and Disney and all that stuff. So the international and subsequent Danish versions of this would have this cover artwork with this logo, and they had kind of they didn't Photoshop back then, but they had retouched the image to make room for the logo. So this is just like a fun item to have in my collection because I think every other copy I have of this, and I don't have like a million copies because I'm not really a multiple copy of the same release guy, except, in some cases. Uh, but the other copies I have on vinyl and on CD of this one, they are with the original logo. So I figure it'd be fun to have one with this, uh, the post lawsuit threat, I think, logo. Up next, another kind of example of something I already have. But this is one of my favorite albums of all time. So I decided to pick up this original um, cassette tape release of Death Symbolic, hoping that this, I don't know, will generate some kind of cosmic mojo that will make them reissue this on vinyl in at reasonable prices. Except I don't believe in all of that stuff. But yeah, uh, fantastic album. If I ever come across a vinyl copy of it that doesn't cost the same thing as a small car, um, I'll pick it up. For now, I have the original CD from back in the day, and now an original cassette tape too. Uh, probably my favorite death metal album of all time. I have a bunch of other like contenders, but they they'll never beat Symbolic. Uh, and up last, the coolest thing in my opinion, and when I show you this tape, most of you will go, "What? What the hell is that?" This one here, non-conspicuous warning by Eidetic, demo tape by a Danish thrash metal band, progressive thrash metal, in the vein of they don't sound exactly like them, but kind of in the same, I don't know, ilk, whatever you want to call, as Voivod, um, Realm. They're not as they're not as power metally as Realm. Um, Watchtower, not as technical as Watchtower, but that's kind of progressive thrash metal. And it's great stuff. They put out 3 demo tapes, and that's it. I have their second one, which I bought back in the day, actually, and I thought I'd lost it, but I found it recently. I think I used to have this one too. Don't know what happened to it, but this seller had this one, and I just had to pick it up. And if I can ever get my hands on um, the third demo tape, which is not thrash metal, it's more like progressive hard rock, but it's very good too. I'll pick that one up as well. And as you can see, those of you who were around back in the days, this is a very professional looking demo tape. Most of us would just release our demos on, blank dub tape you could buy in the supermarkets. And if it even had a J card, it would be a lousy photocopy. So there you go. So this is the highlight to me of this haul for sure. But I think all 5 items are really cool, and I'm actually very glad to have the Sacred Reich one in my collection too. Thanks for watching.